Very good evening to all. I welcome every one of you for our fourth day of SPSS workshop. Somu sir,
Yes, sir.
the session, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. A very good evening to all the participants. Welcome back for the fourth day session on SPSS workshop. So today, as per the schedule, we will be discussing about the another important tool called Kruskal Value. Okay. So before going to the session, I just want to have a recap what we discussed in the previous class. Yes. So I think you can view the PPT. Fine. So in the last session, we have discussed about the Mann-Whitney U test, right? So today we'll be discussing about Kruskal value, which is also called as H test. Both the tests are a non-parametric test. Both Mann-Whitney and Kruskal value both are non-parametric tests. So as we discussed in the previous session, Mann-Whitney. So to know the significant difference of the dependent variable on the independent with the category. Okay, whatever the dependent variable that you want to measure, I want to know the significant difference of those dependent variable on the independent variables, which is having a different category of the same population or two different population. Correct? That is the only difference. But in the Kruskal value, H test, same thing we are going to measure. But if you have more than three factors, okay, or more than the two population, in that situation, you can use Kruskal value H test. And one more thing, this you can ask, sir, the same thing also we can do with the ANOVA. Yes, but when you will use ANOVA is when your data is distributed normally. Okay, when your data for the whatever that you have collected, okay, if you have proved that data is normally distributed, there you can use ANOVA, right? And if you talk about Kruskal value H test, when the data is not distributed normally, there is no normality. In that case, you can use this Kruskal value H test. But when you compare ANOVA and Kruskal value test, both are similar. In both the tools, you have to deal with the two different factors. Dependent variable on the independent variable with different factors. Both are same. You can ask, okay, you can think that, sir, you can use ANOVA also. Yes, you can use. But when you have to use ANOVA is, when your data is distributed normally, you can go ahead with ANOVA test. If your data is not distributed normally, okay, if you have done normality test for your data and you found that, sir, data is not normally distributed, it is not good for the model. We are not getting a proper bell-shaped curve. Okay, the bell-shaped curve looks like a right skewness. That means mostly the people are saying strongly agree only, or the left skewness. Most people are saying that only the strongly disagree. So that means your data is not normally distributed. In that situation, if you have a one dependent variable with a factor, and then you want to measure the significant difference of the dependent variable on the independent variable with a different group of two or more population, you can use Kruskal value H test. Clear? Is it clear now? Once again, I'll repeat. Oh, I'm audible, right? Sir, I'm audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Proceed.
Okay, okay, because there is a message in the chat box, voice issue is there. Okay. So these are the common thing that usually we used to discuss every sessions. Okay. So once again, I'll repeat. See, when you have to use ANOVA, both first important point is ANOVA and Kruskal value test are similar because you are dealing with the dependent and independent variables with the two or more factors. Okay, sir, when I can use ANOVA if your data is normally distributed. Okay, after collecting the data, you will go for normality checking, reliability, validity, all those things they will do. That is the initial step to know that whether my data, the data that I collected for the variables that I'm using in my research work is reliable or not, valid or not. Is that the data that I collected and then data is normally distributed. That means I collected from the respective respondents. I didn't cook up any data. Right, so in that cases you can use ANOVA because your data is normally distributed, and in your research work you have a dependent variable and you want to measure the dependent variable, whether is there any significant difference of dependent variable on the independent variable with two or more factors. Okay, same situation. You take the same kind of a variable, different variable you have, and the independent variable you have, and also you have a independent variables with the two different factors, dependent variable also the two different factors. But my data is not normally distributed. In that case, you can go for Kruskal value test. Clear? Did you understand this two important point? Okay, yesterday man-weighting you test the same thing. You want to measure the significant difference between the dependent variable on the independent variable of same or two different population. Okay, here also the same thing we are going to measure, but if you have a more than the two population, for example, sir, I have a three population, or I have more than the three factors in independent variable. Okay, okay, so this is what we are going to work with.
Sir, kindly
so see the
repeat,
first
sir.
one, it is used
Sir,
to find the
there was a voice dragging. Kindly repeat, sir.
So the first thing is, I already told you, man-weighting U test is like a significant difference of the dependent variable on the independent variable with the categories. Okay, it is two or three, two different categories, two or three. Okay, and then same population or two different population. Whereas in Kruskal value, you are going to measure the same dependent on the independent variable. Okay, with more than three factors as well as more than the two population. Sir, I collected the data from three different population. And each independent variables, under each independent variable, I have a more than three category, three factors I have. Okay, one dependent variable I have two factor, but in the independent variable, okay, I have a three category or more than three category, and I collected those data from more than the two population. In that situation, you can use Kruskal value test after checking your normality. Okay, if you're sorry, after checking normality, if your normality is not done, you can use this Kruskal value. If normality is there, then better go ahead with the ANOVA. No need to do Kruskal value. Clear? Is it clear now? These two important points. If you want to measure the normality, if normality is there, please go ahead with ANOVA. If normality is not there, so in that conditions, first identify that you have a dependent variable, right? And you have an independent variable. Under the independent variable, sir, I have categorized the independent variable into more than three factors, and I collected the data from more than the two population. In that situation, you can use Kruskal value. Okay, so that's why the second point, it is also used for measuring the goodness of fit. And also it is used to compare the two or more independent samples or with the equal or different samples. So that means same population or more than two population. Okay, see the example. I want to measure the performance of the students in the end semester examination, which is a dependent variable. That measurement, that dependent variable can be measured based on the level of the student, right? So level can be low level, high level, medium level. Okay, the same example also I just given you in the ANOVA. Okay, right. You can use the same thing. Only the thing is, before using Kruskal value test, check that whether you have a normality or not. If you have a normality, better you do analysis with ANOVA itself. No need to do Kruskal value. If you don't have a normality, sir, my data doesn't have a normality. It is not having a proper goodness level for my research model. In that case, you can go for a Kruskal value test. Okay, and both Man-Whitney, Kruskal value, or the rank sum test. Both are called non-parametric test, and also it's called as a rank sum test, which means instead of how to check the normality, if there is an option in the analyze, you can go for a explore. There you can check the normality. Okay, I think this is the normality, reliability, and all I already explained in the previous session, previous workshop. No problem. I'll explain you, no issue. So this is what we have to do. Okay, there is no much difference, sir. Understand? Okay, both man-made Kruskal value or the rank sum test, and it is also called as a non-parametric test. And Kruskal value test is similar to ANOVA. If you have two factors, it's depend upon the one-way ANOVA. If you have more than two or three factors, depend upon the two-way ANOVA. But think that before using the Kruskal value, if your data is not normal, yeah, you don't have a normality. then go ahead with the Kruskal value. If your data is normal and it is goodness of it, better you do analysis with ANOVA itself. No need to go for Kruskal value. Okay, is it clear now? Did you understand about the concept of the Kruskal value test, when we have to use, under which situation? Okay, now we'll move on to the analysis. So this is the analysis part. So from analyze, non-parametric, legalcy dialog, K independent sample. Yesterday we discussed a 2 independent sample for Mad-Whitney. Here for a Kruskal value H test, it is K independent sample. Is it clear now? Both are rank sum test. I told you, right? Both are rank sum test. And if you have more than the 3 population, okay, in that situation also you can use Kruskal value test. So I collected the sample from 3 different population, 4 different population. I collected the data about the students from 4 different institutions. Okay, there the population differ, right? It is not that in all the schools they will have same 1,000 students. In one school they have 1,000 students. In one school they may have 5,000 students. Population differ. So in that situations, you can use Kruskal value test if you have a respective dependent and independent variable with the category. Okay. I think now it's clear. Now this is a formula they will be using if you want to do Kruskal value test manually. This is the data. See here they are given the data and they collected the data about these sales. Okay, they collected the data about the sales from 5 different stores. There are 2 factors. I want to know the impact of the sales. Okay, on the 2 different group, there is a one variable called the store. There is another variable called sales promotion type. So the sales is also depend upon the sales promotion type as well as the store. Suppose, for example, sir, store is located near my house. So I will go to the particular store only because it's convenient for me. And also depend upon the demand in the particular location. If there is a more demand and in that location, if you are locating a store, definitely there will be a more sales. Okay. Now here see this data, you can do in a two different way also. Okay, you can go ahead with you can do the 2 analysis to compare with the 2 variables also. Either with the store also you can identify. Otherwise, you can know the sales, effectiveness of the sales depend upon the promotion type also you can identify. But the data which is given in the PPT now, they're asking you to test, see the last line, use Kruskal value test to find out whether there is any difference in the sales in different population, all the 5 stores. So they're asking you to measure the different variable only on the one independent variable called store. So that's why we have taken the hypothesis as only on the there is no significant difference in population among 5 stores. There is a significant difference in population among the 5 stores. Okay, if you want to go, suppose you can take this as a same sample data for doing 2-way also. Again, you can frame the another null hypothesis. What about, is there any significant difference in the sales from the particular population among the different sales promotion type? There is a significance, okay, in sales or in the populations among the 4 sales promotion type. That also you can do. Okay, but in this sample data, they told you to test the dependent variable only on the one independent variable which has more than 3 category. Here there is no 3 stores, there are 5 stores are there. So that's why I framed the hypothesis only on one independent variable factor alone. Okay, if you want, you can prepare another null hypothesis. There is no significant difference in sales or population among different promotion type. Or there is a significant, like that also you can frame. Okay, it's an additional thing that you can do it. Okay, it is not that only you have to do, since in this data they ask you to test only the impact of the sales on the independent variable called store. Okay, see the last line. Use the Kruskal value test to determine whether all 5 stores data have come from different population, and the significant level they are given 0.01. That's why I framed this hypothesis. Suppose this lines is not there, they are asking to test the Kruskal value to find out the effectiveness of sales depend on the store and the promotion type. Then in that case, I would have prepared another null and alternate hypothesis which is depend upon the promotion type. like a two-way ANOVA. How did we did two-way ANOVA, right? Depend upon the variety, depend upon the blocks. The same thing we can do it here. That's why I told you ANOVA and Kruskal value are similar. The thing is, if it is a normal, have a very good normality, go ahead with ANOVA. If it is not a normality, you can go ahead with Kruskal value test. Okay. Now is it clear? Now did you understood that what kind of data if you have, and under what situation you have to use Kruskal value? Okay, this is the same. If you take the same example, we will work out. I will show you how to interpret based on the store as well as how to interpret based on the promotion type. How we did one way on our right, one by one. We have chosen one factor, one independent variable as one factor, and then we have done analysis. Similarly, the same process we can follow here also. Okay, yes, fine. Yeah, check normality. I will show you, so just a minute. Okay, now I will stop sharing this and I will move on to the SPSS. Variable view. Okay, now I'll share my screen. Yes, you can view the SPSS window, right? Okay. Now we need to enter the data. So they're given us sales data 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, 20 data they're given. So first we will write sales. Sales. That is a numeric, and we don't have any decimal value. Sales in the a different population. Okay. Now we are not going to give any value. It will be a scale. And next, what is the next one? Store, right? Store. If you give space, it will not accept. So decimal value is not the store. And types of store. Here we can give the value because we have 5 store, right? 1 equal to store 1. 2 equal to store 2. Add 3 equal to store 3. Add, and then 4 equal to store 4. Add 5 equal to store 5. Add. Okay. Now give OK. We are nominated. And next thing is promotion type, right? Here promotion. Promotion also it's like a 0. Types of promotion. Okay, now we can give a value here also. 1. What is that promotion first type? Free sample. 1 is free sample. 2 is 1 packed gift. 1 pack gift. 2, 3. What is that? 3 sent off, and then refund be made. Sense off, and then 4th one is refund. Sorry, refund by mail. Okay, so sent off is like an given and question example of ordinal scale data. Given and question example of ordinal scale data means I can understand, sir, your question. Ordinal scale, I told you no, sir, when you're collecting the data for your variables by having a scales like 5-point scale, 7-point scale, right? 1 strongly agree, 5 strongly disagree, or 1 to 7 means like that, or highly satisfied, likely, very likely, unlikely, When you're giving the using a scale for your all the variables, in that situation you have to use ordinal scale. Here we are not using any ordinal scale. It is the data is given, the data about the sales data for each different 5 stores as well as based on the different promotional type. So it's like a continuous data only, because we got different sales data. And the store we are nominating 1 equal to store 1, 2 equal to store 2. Here it is not an ordinal scale. Ordinal scale should be when you are using any 5-point or 7-point Likert scale, that is ordinal scale. For example, sir, I have 20 variables in my 50 variables in my questionnaire. Okay, excluding demographic factors. For all the 50 variables, you ask the respondents to give rating from 1 to 5. 1 is highly satisfied, 2 is satisfied, 3 is moderate, 4 is dissatisfied, 5 is highly dissatisfied, or 1 is strongly agreed, 2 is agreed. Like that, if you're giving a scale from rating from 1 to 5 or 1 to 7, okay, in that case, you have to mention as an ordinal. That is called ordinal. Ordinal is what? Ordinal or interval. Both are same. Ordinal scale or interval scale, because we are measuring the data by giving certain intervals. Lower level interval and then the higher interval. Nominal means most probably, that's why I told you in the first class itself. Nominal most probably we will be using for demographic factors. Wherever you have that qualitative information, no, there we will be using. Okay, it is not in the all the situation. Okay, fine. So I given this 4 promotional type and given okay. Now we entered the data, right? So now the data is entered. Go to the data view, and I already told you before entering the data, ensure that this value labels icon should be disabled. So take this out. Okay, now we need to enter the sales data. What is the sales data? 78, 87, 81, 78, 87, 81, 89, 85. I'm entering the data in horizontal. I told you, right? When you're entering the data horizontal, according to the respective dependent variables, you have to choose whether it's like a 1 1 1 1 or 1 2 3 1 2 3 like that. So that you should be clear. Don't confuse. Next one is a 94 and 91, 87, 90, 88. This is the second row value. Fine. Okay, now the third row value is 73, 78, 69, 73, 78, 69, 83, 76, 83, and 76. This is the third row value. And the fourth row value is 79, 83, 78, 79, 83, 78, 69, and 81. Okay, now we enter the data. Okay, so the first row, we have 5 data, right? First 5 data and the second 5, and so total 20 we have. So since I enter the data in the row wise, first row, second row, so when it comes to the store, it is like 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. So the 78 belongs to store number 1, and 87 belongs to store number 2, 81 belongs to store number 3, 89 belongs to store number 4, 85 belongs to store number 5. So like that, it becomes like this: 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 4 5. Now we enter the store also. Okay, and then promotion. Promotion is like 4 type of promotions are there, right? 4 type of promotions. So it is like 1 1 1 1. First 5 samples sales data depend upon the promotional one, and then it should be 2 2 2 2, 3 3 3 3, and then 4 4 4 4 4. Right, now we got the value. Yes, right. Okay, now you can enable this value label. All right. Okay, fine. Now where we have to go? We have to go to analyze, and non-parametric test, legal C dialog. Okay, the same what we did yesterday in man whitening, the same option, but for man whitening, we have taken 2 independent sample. For Kruskal Valley, we have taken K independent sample. K means more than the 2. Okay, we collected more than the 2. Okay, independent variables as more than 3 factor. In those ANOVA and man whitening and all, we have discussed independent variable 2 or 3 factors only. But here now see, we have store more than 3. We have 5 store, and promotion type also we have 4 promotion type. So when your factors under each and every variables are more than 3, better you can go for a Kruskal Valley test if your data is not having a normality. Okay, so you can choose K independent sample test. Now, what is the variable we need to test? We need to test about the sales. So we have selected the sales to the test variable. Second one is grouping variable. Now, this is what we have to see here. In the given data, they told you to test the sales regarding only the store at 1% level of significance. So we need to choose store. Suppose, sir, why can't we choose promotion? We can choose it. First, you choose the store and then give OK and get the output table. Again, go back to analyze and remove the store and then give promotion and get another analysis. That's not an issue. You can do it in a 2-way. But in the given data, in the given sample, since they told us to do only the sales effectiveness only on one independent variable store, that's why I'm taking only the store here. So select the store and give it here. Okay, now after selecting the store, we need to define the range. Yesterday in man whitening, we defined a value. Value means only 2 factors will be there. So we are given 1 and 2, that's all. But no, not more than 2. If you have more than 2, you cannot do that man whitening. Okay, that's why they have mentioned that Kruskal Valley you have to do. So after selecting this grouping variable, see this OK button will not be enabled. Again, it is disabled. So what you have to do is you have to define the range here. Okay, defining the value is different, defining the range is different. Defining the value, what is the value you are assuming for the 2 factor? 1 is for 1, 2 is for 2. But here range is you have to give the minimum and the maximum. How many stores are there? 5 stores are there. So what is the minimum? Minimum is 1, maximum is what? 5. That we have to give here in Kruskal Valley. Minimum 1, maximum 5. Suppose there are 4 factors only, sir. Then minimum 1, maximum 4. Okay, so after that, give continue. Okay, and before giving an OK, ensure that this Kruskal Valley test should be enabled. Tick mark should be there. And though no other options. Similarly, the 1% level is given. 19%, so already it is 1% only. So no need to change. If you want to change to the 5%, you can change there. You can enter 95. Okay, and if you want to descriptive, you can choose, otherwise no issue. Okay, so this is the way you have to do. So give OK. You will get the output table. Right. Now, once again, I'll repeat the step. Go to analyze, non-parametric test, legal C dialogs, K independent sample t test. Choose. Okay, now I will choose the sales as a test variable. Now I'll choose a promotion. Previously I did store. No, now I'll choose promotion. No problem. We will do that also. Give it here. Now you have to define the rate. How many promotion types are there? 4. So minimum is 1, maximum is 4. You continue, and remaining things will be the same. Sir, if you want to test both at 5% and 1%, so you cannot test both at 5 and 1%. There should be only one level of significance, right? If you're focusing on 1%, that 5%, that 95% of the research still comes under that between that 99 now. So we cannot do that 2 levels of significance. Okay, we have to do at the 5%. That's why I told you the standard level of significance for the research is 5%. 1% you can, if your research is coming under the laboratory experiment, like a technical, like science domain, there you can prove, because anyhow you are going to prove practically. Okay, by undergoing a test and you are going to prove that. But for the social science research and the literature reviews and all, 95% itself, it's a biggest task, because now we have a software for testing our plagiarism, right? So it is very difficult to reduce to 10%. Every journal is asking below 10%. For example, you are using a name called respondent. Okay, so when you're writing the inference, definitely you will repeat the word term respondents many times. 70% of the respondent, majority of the respondent, most of the respondent. So when you are repeating that response also, for even that also in the plagiarism, when you check, it will show high level. So we need to reframe that. Sometimes we have to use respondent. Sometimes we used to mention customer. Okay, like that we need to change. So better standard level of significance is 95%. Okay, if you take any social science research, 95% is better, according to me. Okay, so after that, I have defined the range here also, and I giving okay. Okay, so you'll get two output table. I will share the two output table now. I will stop sharing the 0.770. Very good, ma'am. Right, I think right answer you got. I'll stop the SPSS screen and I will share the output screen. I will show the output screen of both the variable. One is for store, another one is for promotion. Now, I think you can view the output page, right? See, this is the Kruskal value test. This is for store. Okay, what is the average rank for the store 1, store 2, store 3? And this is the Kruskal value. See, the Kruskal value, significant value 0.770. Very good. So 0.770, that means what? It is greater than the 0.01, because in our sample data, it is given just the Kruskal value test at 1% level of significance. So 0.77 is greater than 0.01. What we have to do? We have to accept the null hypothesis. So what is the null hypothesis? There is no significant difference. That means all the 5 stores, okay, the sales was same. Similarly, the sales was similar, okay, according to the first promotional type. What is the first promotional type? Free sample. Okay. For example, take there is a Big Bazaar or a DMart or any other showrooms, Reliance Trend, Reliance Fresh, whatever it is. And if we can see Big Bazaar, Reliance Fresh in T Nagar, and then in Adayar, in Padi, or different places in the Chennai. Okay, and in all the places, that first 1 week, they are giving a free sample gift. Usually, when you're giving a free sample, everyone definitely there will be more sales, right? So if you see that, so if the sales for all the 5 stores based on the first promotional type is similar, there is no significant difference. That is what we have to interpret. Okay. Now I copy this table. This is a Kruskal value test table for one independent variable called store, and I'll go through down. You can see the Kruskal value test for the promotional type. Now, if you want to mention that there is no way 0.05 is greater than 0.05, that is, there is no significant difference in the promotional type. So that means whatever the promotional type they are using in all the 5 stores, what is the level of significance in this question, sir? 1%, sir. In the data, it is mentioned as a alpha equal to 0.01. If level of significance is not mentioned, we have to take it as a 0.05. But some data they will give, but this is a raw data, right? But when you are undergoing a research, usually you will take 0.05. Okay. So this is a Kruskal value test significant value for the another independent variable promotion type. Right. Okay. Now I'll copy the first table because we have to give interpretation for the one variable. So now I copied this. Okay. And copy the output table and I'll place it here. It's not pasted. Right. Yes. So this is the output table. I will show the Now how to write the interpretation. Okay, now I'll open the PPT and I'll show you. Okay, fine. Now I'll stop sharing the output screen and I'll share the PPT now. Okay, I think this is the output we got, right? So what is the null hypothesis? This is a null hypothesis. Okay, so we'll copy. And here you have to write inference. So how should the inference? Since p-value, what is the p-value here? 0.770. Okay, is greater than, sorry, is greater than 0.01. Therefore, the null hypothesis is accepted at 1% level of significance, and hence it is concluded that there is no significant difference in population among the 5 store. Now you can mention there is no significant difference in sales among the 5 store. Okay, now is it clear? You can write the interpretation like this. And after this interpretations, if you want to, you can give some justification also. That is what we can do. There's a message in the chat box. Sir, don't you think choosing of 1% hypothesis can totally change the analysis part? I mean, where we are accepting hypothesis 1% with totally rejecting it at 5%, or vice versa. Yes, sir, depend upon the significant level, the hypothesis will change. Interpretations will be changed. Since in this data, yes, ma'am, in this data, they're given 1% level. They want to check at 1%. That means they want to get the accuracy. I told you, right, what is the level of significance is, as a researcher, sir, whatever the data I collected, I want to prove, I want to give justification for my data with 99% accuracy. That means 1% error is allowed. Sampling, they will tell term called sampling error. That means 1% sampling error is allowed. So I want to collect the data. I want to do the research with 99% accuracy. In that situation only you can take 1%. No, sir, for me 95% is allowed. Okay, if 5% error is allowed in my research work, okay, I can prove it 95%, and then you can choose 5%. Okay, when you are choosing that, definitely it will change, interpretation will change. See, now you want accurate result. So in the data they're given 1%. So we are given the accurate result that there is no change at all. So sales are similar, sir. If you compare all the 5 store, sales are similar. If you give free sample, so if that is the first promotional, if you give free sample in store 1, which is located in T Nagar, in store 2 in Adayar, in store 3 in Pursuvakam, in store 3 in Saidapeta, in store 3 in Gindi or Vadapan, whatever it is. But in all the 5 stores, the sales are similar. Here 60% means there also 60 to 62%. So it's showing that 99%. That means you are showing that you are giving an accurate result, accurate output. Sir, I don't want that much accuracy. 95% chance means then it will change. Your interpretation will change definitely. Okay, so it is accept or reject is depend upon your significant level. There is no proper standard for analysis. Yeah, no proper standard means that's why I told no, everything is depend upon your variable, factor, a type of data that you're collecting, a type of research that you're doing, because it may differ, because all the studies are like a social science or like a perceptual study, right? Definitely there will be a response bias. It is not like a laboratory experiment or a scientific experiments to prove the accurate result. That's why in the social science research, they are giving, okay, 3 different level of significance. You can do a research to prove, you can prove, if you want to prove 99%, you can prove 95, 90 also is there. Okay, so we cannot say that there is a standard. Okay, it is depend upon research work. If you want to prove, you want to make it your research effectively, means you can do it. But nowadays everybody is doing in order to get a degree. Okay, somewhat okay. But if you want to go in depth, then it will take a long time to do a research work. Okay, so social science, literature review studies and all, it is very, very difficult now. We cannot make it as a 99% accuracy. Okay, 95% is a difficult thing. But we are proceeding. We are proceeding with the data, and we are giving interpretation, justification by using this kind of tools. And that's why they are accepting. Okay, in the journal, that's why they are accepting, and they are okay with our justification. Okay. Otherwise, they will give a command, right? Your study doesn't give any scope. Your study doesn't matches for this kind of people. How you are interpreting, how your justification, all those questions they will ask. So it is depend upon our research. Okay, and then after this also you can interpret. I already told you, right? That is, there is a equal percentage of sales in all the 5 stores depend upon the uh, promotional type. It will depend upon the free sample. Like that also you can justify. If you want, you can justify. Okay. So this is the way how you have to do the Kruskal value test. So with this, the another sample data is there. So this is just like we have a data of the 3 factors. Okay. They identify what about the data about the oil spills, how much percentage of the oil spills in each and every system. System A. Okay, 555, 60, like that. For every 1 hour, they are collected information. And based on it, they are saying, and they are asking which system is effective. Is there any there is any significant difference, or is there systems is any effective or not, effective or ineffective? Okay, so you can mention the null hypothesis as there is a significant difference between the 3 systems, or all the three systems are not effective. Alternate hypothesis, you can have 3 systems are effective. Sorry, 3 systems are ineffective or 3 systems are effective. You can state your hypothesis like that. Okay, so is it clear? Now with this also you can do a Kruskal value test. Okay, any doubts in this Kruskal value test? If any doubts, you can please put in the chat box. So with this, the Kruskal value test is clear. So you can try this and you can tell me the answer. What is the value people are getting? You can try this. You can enter the data, the oil spills data, and there is only 3 different systems. And one more thing, you are asking about the normality, right? So normality for this data we cannot do. For the entire questionnaire, we need to check the normality. I will show any one sample which I have. So meanwhile, you can try out the second one and tell me the answer. Sir, in null hypothesis, we always take no significant difference. Please clarify, it's confusing always. Sir, if you're dealing with a one sample, one variable, no, you cannot say a significant difference. It should be like an average or equal or not equal, or average or not average. Like that only you have to set for one variable. That's why I told you, they can say in t-test and all, there are one sample t-test is there. Okay, one sample t-test is there. In that situation, you cannot set null hypothesis. There is no significant difference between the variable. No, you're dealing with only one variable. What you can say is the data or anything they are mentioning in that data, you can mention that this is equal. The so-and-so variable is not equal. So-and-so variable is equal. So-and-so variable is not having, there is no average. There is no average value, or there is no equal value in so-and-so variable. There is equal value, there is average value in so-and-so variable. Like that, you have to set if you're dealing with one variable. And whenever you're dealing with a 2 variable, for chi-square, you should mention the term called association. There is a significant association or not. And for correlation, regression, all these things and all, you can mention there is no significant difference. There is no significant, there is a significant relationship. There is a significant correlation. Like that, you can mention. But whenever you are choosing null hypothesis for the two variable, there should be no significant difference, no associations, no relationship like that only. Whereas when you're dealing with one variable, it should be like an equal to or average. Okay, not equal to, not average, like that you can frame your hypothesis. Hypothesis is just like an assumption. Okay, whether you are proving yes or no, it's a kind of research also. If you're saying, sir, no, it is not proved, means that is also research, right? It's not that every time you have to prove. Sometimes you can prove that it is not, there is no significant at all. That is also one proof, that is also one outcome for a research. That you can justify. Sir, please explain the term goodness of it. Ma'am, goodness of it is like a normality, ma'am. Goodness of it means you have seen they will tell bell-shaped curve. Bell-shaped means you can see the bell, right? Bell-shaped curve will be there. Okay, when your data is flowing in a bell-shaped curve, that means your model is good for fit. That means whatever the variable that you are used, okay, it's good for your research model. Okay, and also normality. There is an equal distribution of values out there. That means you have collected the data from all the respondents, proper respondents, targeted response only, and the data that you are given as a response. Okay, when you are putting in the table and when you are checking the normality, it will be equally distributed. It is not that if it is lying on the right hand side, it's like a right skewness. There is a concept called skewness and kurtosis. Right skewness means that means in your research work, the respondents are given only positive. Only positive. That means for every question they are mentioned strongly agree, strongly agree, strongly agree. That is also a problem for research work. And there are some respondents, all the respondents will give only strongly disagree, strongly disagree, strongly disagree. That is a left skewness. So in that cases, the bell-shaped curve will not look like an equal distribution. Only one side there will be a bend. Other side will be like a flat. That is not normal. That is not goodness of fit. That means in the 20 variables, okay, all the 20 variables they are saying strongly agree. Okay, it is not like that, right? For example, you are undergoing a survey as a customer. Okay, you are getting a survey from Swiggy and Zomato. Will you give agree, or highly certification for all the questions that they're asking? Definitely you will not do, right? Or definitely for some questions, you will feel some dissatisfaction. In that cases, you will give disagree. For some questions, you cannot say either agree or disagree, moderate level. So when you are collecting the data in that way, then the normality will be there, goodness of fit. That means the data that you have collected has a very good normality, reliable, which is suitable for your research model. Whenever you are preparing your research work, you will prepare research model, like you will display the research model, which are the variable, which are the dependent variable, which variables comes under which factor, okay, from which is the independent variable, and from that how you are going to measure all these things you will explain with the research model itself. The research framework, they will call it as a conceptual model. Research framework is like what is the research type, all those things, but conceptual framework, that is a research model. Okay, that is what you can explain with the goodness of it. Okay, is it clear, ma'am? And yes, sir, t-test, I remember. Yeah, t-test, there only it will go. Okay. That's just depend upon the variable. And if you're concluding the null hypothesis accepted, then you can say that the data or the sales are equally distributed. The performance of the average marks of the students, sorry, what we can say, marks of the students are having a average marks. Students are having a marks of the students are distributed, okay, in an equal average. Like that you can interpret. It's depend upon your the variable, the hypothesis you are fixing. Okay, I will show you tomorrow if possible. I'll show that one hypothesis related to that. It is there. T-test, it is there. Okay. Yes, fine. So I think did you work out that second data, sample data? Did anyone work out? If anyone worked out, please put in the chat box so that we can discuss that answer. This one, the second one, whether you are accepting or rejecting. Okay, meanwhile you can do it. You can take some 2 or 3 minutes time, you can do it. I'll stop sharing this. I'll share one more file because you're asking about the normality, right? Okay, I think you can see this questionnaire, right? This is the questionnaire, like some 30 questionnaires are there. So you have to enter all the variables in the SPSS and then go for normality. Okay, normality is also called Kolmogorov-Simrov test. Kolmogorov-Simrov test. Okay, so this is just for an example. This is like a raw data. Whatever the data, whatever the thing I'm working, it's like a raw data, sir, because I just modified according to that tool. Okay, I don't have a complete questionnaire where I can apply for all the analysis. So even though I have from that, okay, because I have done different research on different topic. So from each and every topic, I have selected few variables, and according to that, I am doing the analysis. Okay, so that's why I told you from your research work or from your entire questionnaire, you can decide what are the analysis, what are tools you can use. So since for all the analysis, whatever the data that you used for the past 4 days, all are like what we can say as a demoed variables. That's all, because it's not a complete variable of a complete research. I have taken a for first day. I have taken one variables, 2 to 3 different variables from other research. For the second day, I have taken from some other research, some other questionnaire. So don't think that. But whenever you are framing a questionnaire and you have started collecting the data, you just enter all the data in the single SPSS sheet itself. I told you, right? You just take this as an example. Now see, this questionnaire, this file indicates about demographic factors, gender, age. You want to show the variable view? Yes, sir. You can see the variable view, sir. Gender, age, education, work, income, martial. This and all demographic. And what are the questionnaire that I use? I mentioned as a Q1, Q2. For that, I had given a variable name here also, the full name. Okay, so 32 questions, I think. Yeah, 32 questions. All the 32 questions are measured with 1 to 5 point scale. That means 1 is strongly agree, 2 is agree, 3 is moderate, like that. So it's like an ordinal. Okay, so after entering this data, now I'll move on to the data view, where we can check the normality. Go to analyze. Descriptive statistics will be there. Descriptive statistics. Explore. Okay. Now you can check. You can identify in this. There will be a one outcome variable, right? If you see your research model, for example, performance. This research data talks about the factors affecting the occupational stress and its impact on performance. That is the title of this research. Okay, because this research I got from one more college, and they're asking me to help us to do what kind of analysis we can do. So their title is factors affecting occupational stress and its impact on performance. That is the title of the article. For that, they're given this data. So here, what is that your dependent variable? Performance, right? I think whether the performance is here or not, I don't know. Because this is the data that I was working on. Employee performance is there. Okay, right? Okay, good. Now I have taken this as a different variable because this is the outcome variable. I want to measure, is there any, what are the factors that affect their occupational stress, whether that stress have impact on the employee performance or not. So I want to measure the employee performance. So your performance depend upon what? Various factors. Okay, like your occupational stress, working environment, workload, psychological needs, and interpersonal relation. Like that, we can say many things. So I want to measure this. Okay, sir. Just 5 more minutes. So you can mention a dependent variable, and then you can list all the factor list. You can list all this. These are all variables. Okay. Now statistics, go to statistics, descriptors is there. Okay, fine. And the plots, you can take steam and leaf. You can give independent the histogram and choose normality. You can use stem and leaf also, no problem. Here you have to choose normality plots with test. Continue. Option is excluded from list. Okay. And bootstrap has nothing to do with the bootstrap. Okay. Now give okay. You will get the output table. I'll show the output table. Wait. I think some wrong, showing some wrong thing. Because all these factors are, all these variables I made as a 3 factors, 3, 4, 5 factors. I made it. And descriptive statistics. I'll just stop sharing this table and I'll show the another output table. See, after checking that normality, no. See, you can see the skewness here. Skewness minus 0.8. That means the left skewness. Left skewness. Kurtosis also left kurtosis. There is a range. Kurtosis should be greater than 3. If it is between 1 to 3, if it is less than 1, what is that interpretation? Okay, these are the table we will get. I think some error it's showing. That's why I told no, it's a raw data. So it is not completed properly. So when you do that, it will show that you can see this workload, what is the valid percentage. This is a descriptive statistics, skewness kurtosis you can mention. From this skewness kurtosis, you can identify that. And this is the normality test. So see the normality test. This is called Kolmorov-Simrov test. See 0.00, 0.00, 0.19, 0.46. Okay, so here, see there are some values, these two values are less than 0.05. Okay, and all the values are less than 0.05, right? So if it is less than 0.05, that means what? Not what is that? Normality is there. That means the difference, that is a normal distribution of the data is there. Okay, if the significance, see the Kolmorov-Simrov test, I told you, right, test of normality, all the significance values are less than 0.05. So there is a normality. Then you can use this. Then you can use the 2n also, and histogram will be there. Show the normal stem and leaf, and next normality. See the normality plot. There are different, because I use only 2 factors, so it's showing 2 factor. Suppose if you're doing 5 factors, means if this data lies here, that means all are equally distributed. Doesn't have any deviation. See, one is not here, one is not there. All this, it is coming under this. This is the normality plot for each factor. See, this is for each factor. This is for employee performance. This is for workload. Like that, it goes on for all the factors, because I selected all the factors, no. But you know how to test that normality, right? There is a, you will get the table. And this histogram I selected simply. Just a minute, I'll get it. So Kormro Simro test will be there, right? And this only this, see, this is the one, Kormro Simro test. By using this table only, you can check that, see, all the significance values are less than 0.05. Therefore, there is a normality. That means the data that you collected is normally distributed. So the data which is collected by the respondents, by a researcher, I told you, right? They are doing a preparing an article on factors affecting occupational stress and its impact on performance. So that data is now normally distributed. Okay, so by using this normality Kolmrov-Simrov test, we have to see the significant. By using the significant only, we can check there is normality or not. Okay, now is it clear how to check the normality? Any other doubts? I think ma'am has solved 8.39 will be the answer for this second. Okay, that means it's greater than 0.05. Therefore, you have to accept the null hypothesis. Okay, fine, good. So when we use Shapiro test, ma'am, I don't have any idea, ma'am. Sorry. Shapiro test, I don't have any idea. I think it is the first time I'm hearing. This is for which kind of research work, ma'am? Shapiro test for social science or any other science, or a multidisciplinary humanities? Because whatever the test and tools that we're using, it's basically from the background of statistics. So since I am from a management, social science and interdisciplinary, so I just explaining all those things in that aspect, but I don't have idea about a Shapiro test. But today I learned now some new tests from you. Thank you. I will try to find out that. Shapiro-Wilk test, Wilcoxon test, right? Used when sample size is small. Okay, but most probably we can use, not very sure, but most probably if you want to make your research work perfect and effective, better go with more sample. Okay. Actually, my guide has used this test in his research. Okay, fine. Thank you. Maybe your sample size may be small, so they ask you to use it. Okay, sir, it was there besides the normal test you showed on screen. Yes, ma'am, a normal test I showed, that after selecting that variables, dependent variable on the factor, if you give OK, you have to select normality plot from that option. After selecting, you will get one table called test of normality, Kolmrov-Simrov test. That under that Kolmrov-Simrov test column only, you have to find out significant values are less than 0.05 or not. That is what our normal test we will do. Okay, thank you, ma'am. So the second answer for the second value, 0.839, ma'am has told. So we have to reject the accept the null hypothesis. So this is another example already I gave in the PPT plus Excel sheet also. You can try. Okay, so that's how we come to the end of the day 4. Yes, Shapiro test was written in another column beside Kolmrov's test. Okay, fine. Because I think you look out that Shapiro-Wilcoxon test is that, yes. Okay, but we used to see this only, so that's why. Yes, any doubts you can clarify? Otherwise, we will end the session. So today, I think you're clear with the Kruskal-Wallis test, right? Okay, so band widening, Kruskal-Wallis, both are non-parametric, and both you can solve instead of applying the using the data. You can observe, you can allocate the rank, and you can do that. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So learning is very important. At the same time, after learning, you people can go for a practice. How far you are practicing yourself in the analysis, and not only that, you will learn the thing. You will start learning a new things also. Okay, you start learning a new way of doing that. Okay, when you're doing that, there are a lot of mistakes will happen. That's not a problem, but you can learn from the mistakes. Okay. The thing is, it is not that how you will use the statistical tool. Whatever the data I already told you, whatever the data you're giving as a input in the SPSS, it will take everything and it will give output for everything. The thing is the interpretation, justifications according to your research work and how your research works, having a very good research flow starting from introduction, literature review, variables that you are connected in your research, and what is the findings and recommendations, and how you are going to conclude. That gives a quality research paper. So once if you're done, definitely you'll be getting very good recognitions and you will be motivated, you'll be start improving all this activity. Okay, so thank you so much. Tomorrow we will do factor analysis. Yes, sir. I think it's one of the important analysis nowadays. Okay, so thank you so much. So with this, I will stop sharing my PPT and just come to the end of the session. Over to you, Bala sir. Bala sir. Yes, ma'am. Shailaja ma'am, can you unmute? Yes, ma'am. Shailaja ma'am, you are raised your hand. Can you unmute? Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
end of the session, sir?
You can end, ma'am. You can end, ma'am.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you all participants. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.